You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh, yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bro Down Podcast. I'm Andy Smith.
And I'm Tim Fulton. And this is What Do You Got?
What do you guys? Where we bullshit about some topics that neither one of us know about. Tim cheated, so he might know mine, but I don't know his.
I know the first word of his.
Okay. Still cheated.
I cheated a little bit.
All right.
I'm going first anyway. So we are going to be talking about working from home.
Okay.
Because it's kind of like the big deal right now. And they're saying that because of the whole COVID thing, everyone's working from home. Productivity has not gone down as much as people expected it to.
Gee.
So it might become the wave of the future, which has huge ramifications across the board, in my opinion.
Ramifications?
Yes.
Or...
Like ramifications.
Okay, well, you don't have to ramifications. You can
Well, I
gently
like-
shove-fications. Why don't we go with shove-fications?
I like to get rough with the fications.
Okay, so we can ram them. So
This
that
is our
says a
level of
couple
take
things.
on things.
That says a couple things right off the bat in my head.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, number one, people need to get that 40-hour work week out of their brain.
Yeah.
Some people work more efficiently in shorter amounts of time because that's just how they work. They like being under pressure, whatever.
Yeah.
Some people will take a 4-hour job and take 8 hours to do it. That's just how some people are. Regardless, if everyone's doing the same work from home and productivity has not gone down, there should be no reason why you can't work from home. If the job description was given and they are fulfilling that job description, what is the point? Why do you have to be staring over them in a cubicle? It doesn't make sense. You don't have to do it.
It doesn't make sense.
My second thought is that it shows just how much people were bullshitting off at work.
That was my first thought, too. That means, yeah, it's not that they're doing better from home. They're probably slacking off as much as you think they are.
Yeah.
Just that they found ways to slack off at the office,
See,
too.
I think that if you're running a company or a business or government, fucking whatever,
Whatever, yeah.
if your employees are doing just the same amount at home and you don't give them the option to if it was your choice, then there's a problem there.
Yeah.
Because it's either you want to be watching what they're doing all the time, in which case that's a bad, like, as long as they're getting their job done, what's the difference?
Yeah.
How much money could you save not having facilities for 600 people when you only need facilities for parts when people need to come in for meetings and whatnot?
Yeah, yeah.
And the other part of that is, I don't think that if you're the boss or if you're in charge, you're a supervisor, and you're giving out work to your employees, and you think it's like they're doing that work and they're sitting on their ass. Well, okay, number one, you're either not allocating their time properly by giving them assignments that need to be done in a certain amount of time, or you don't know how long those things take, in which case you're a poor manager.
Yeah, I could see that.
But all in all, if you're getting the same work done from home, I think you should be able to watch Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, why not?
Probably people are more productive at home because they can take an hour shit if they want and eat lunch for an hour and double time it after.
I have mixed emotions about this, only because, and I agree with you. If it works for people, then it works for people. Let them fucking do it. I can see having to go in the office like once a week or once every other week, just to like, because there is a benefit to like hashing things out in person and whatnot. But if you're just doing grind work, like if you're just sitting down and buckling out what you got to do it.
Yeah.
It's fine to do it from home, but I don't understand how people do it.
I understand that.
Yeah, I get that people are being successful with it, but I don't understand how.
It feels more Groundhog's Day because you don't have the commute, you don't have getting out, you don't have getting sunlight and seeing people and all that.
It's weird.
It is weird, and it's especially weird now because it's not like, oh, hey, we're the government, we're trying out this new work from home plan. We're home because of some fucked up shit.
Yeah. Stay home or die.
Yeah, I honestly, dude, I think if even if it's permitted or your job permits it, I think 2 days a week at the office at a minimum is fine.
Yeah.
Or maximum is fine. Like, as long as you can do what you have like just have 2 days a week where you report in. You have a face to face with your boss or supervisor. Hey, what's working? What's not working? What do you need from us? Any issues or whatever? Because there is something to be said about personal interaction that you just can't seem to come across any other way. And at the same time, it might make managers more efficient, and the manager or supervisor to employee relationship, because a lot of the times, like when you're at work, you're just doing your own job. Yeah. Like a lot of times managers and all that stuff, they're managing other people, but they have their own work. It's not like their only job is to just stand there
and watch
and look around. I'm sure there are some, but if you had a designated day where your only objective for that day was to talk to your employees, that would probably be way more beneficial.
Yeah, plus you do have a point. I do think people would miss out if they were 100% work from home on like the social interaction, because there is something to be said for that, but there is also something to be said for the reverse. If you see the same people day in, day out for a minimum of 40 hours a week, you start to loathe them.
Yeah.
Even the best of people will start to friggin' hate each other if it gets that bad. But if you're only seeing them 2 days a week or whatever, then it becomes kind of like more of a polite, oh, hey, what's up? Like, you don't care that Carol is taking up the entire fucking fridge. Why is there a frozen lasagna in the freezer, Carol?
A frozen lasagna?
Not even joking. Been there for months.
See, I got 5 refrigerators at my office.
We have 2. One's a mini fridge.
No, 5 full size.
Probably for you.
Full size.
You monster.
Yeah. We started out with 1, and then we got a second one when we moved, and then 3 more were brought in after to accommodate the rest of the food.
How big's your team?
4 people.
So you have 1 1/4 fridges per person.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 5. Yeah, 5 fridges we have.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's
pretty magical.
That's gonna be a different discussion one day. We're gonna talk about that.
But see, that is a perfect example of, and this is what I mean when I'm talking about working from home and not having Big Brother there. If you walked into an office that was a satellite office, say your boss walked into an office, what do you think the average run-of-the-mill manager would say if he walked into an office? Take out the fact that he's paying for the electric bill. Just pretend he's not. Walks into an office and he sees a team and they got 5 refrigerators.
You would think they're slacking.
But say that team is actually the best out of all the teams that you have.
And he knows that?
And he knows that because he's managing them teams.
Then fuck it. Let them stay happy.
But what do you think the knee-jerk reaction is?
Why do you have 5
Why do you have 4 fridges? 5 fridges?
Yeah.
Why do you have them?
Yeah.
You can't have these fridges.
I will say that I think that depends on the person, because I do think some people will have that knee jerk. What the fuck are these people doing?
Oh, it has happened.
I'm sure it has.
Yeah. It's been subtly hinted that productivity will decline.
If you had 5 fridges.
It was just joking around because
if they took them away.
No, it was like it was just mentioned about like, why do you have so many fridges? It was just like, hey man, keep people happy to keep working. Not like we could do anything. If we had to get rid of them, we get rid of them. Who cares? But we're not getting rid of them.
But if they know you're the best team, or the theoretical situation,
there's never any issues out of the
then fuck it. Let them have what makes them happy.
Yeah,
that would be my thought.
I've heard rumor that they've actually tried to say you're not allowed to have toasters because somebody may or may not have lit a toaster on fire in a different building that wasn't anyone else's. So the typical corporate way is if one person makes a mistake, you don't just talk to that person. You blanket it.
Everyone.
So now everyone doesn't get a toaster.
Everyone fails because of one person. I hate this.
So some people got rid of the toaster. Other teams got a new toaster to add on to the other toaster.
Good.
Yeah. So
what's the moral of this?
What's your final thoughts on work from home? What do you think is going to happen after this? Do you think that companies are going to allow and allow their employees to work from home? And what companies are going to and what companies are not going to?
So there's multiple reasons why it actually is in the best interest of companies to do this, and it's going to have serious impact on the world going forward. We live in the greater New York City area, right? A lot of those companies need people to be there day in, day out, and so they hire New York City residents to do so. But that's no longer the case. If you have the ability to work from home, even if you have to come in once a week, we'll say, maybe once every other week, maybe even twice a week, well, now you can get people who are significantly further away to be inclined to take the position because it's not a travel burden. So your resource of candidates suddenly increases dramatically, which also has the flip effect. If this truly becomes a trend, you're going to start seeing people leaving big cities,
spreading out
a little bit more. You no longer have to have the 20-minute walk to get to your office because it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, maybe once a week you have an hour and a half commute, but even then it's not going to be that bad anymore because not as many people are going to have to commute.
Yeah.
I think from that aspect, it's going to be super good, like phenomenal for like the environment and for productivity and like good things all around.
Yeah, I think there's I look at offices sometimes almost as like a part-time, like you're an animal in a zoo. Like you have to basically go to prison. Yeah. And it's not like your job is prison, but like you have to go into a prison-like environment to do a job. And some jobs you don't have to be there to do that job.
Yeah.
Some jobs you do, like construction industry.
If
you're not there building the bridge don't get built. You can't phone in a bridge.
No.
But you can phone in a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
You know, like you can do that. Less people driving.
Yeah.
Less wear and tear. There's a lot of benefits
less
to
wear
that.
Yeah, you're right. Less wear and tear on your car. The company saves electric and all that other crap.
Company saves electric.
The company saves electric.
It probably in the long run puts more stress on the infrastructure, though. For certain infrastructure.
Yeah,
not the roads and highways.
Yeah, you will see an increase in IT productivity. So if you want to get your IT degree now, like I'll do all that bullshit.
Yes, IT, but like sewer lines, electric.
Okay.
Water company. Because you got to think big buildings. Like think about when you're in an office.
Yeah.
How many times you go to the bathroom a day in an office?
I have the bladder of a 3-year-old girl, so I go about every hour on the hour.
Okay. If you're home, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm on the exclusion because I'm weird.
Most people don't go to the bathroom as much as much at work as they do home. Right?
It's fair.
So, and not only that, most buildings nowadays, especially if they're newer, they got all high efficiency stuff. Low water when for the flushing.
Yeah.
They have all fluorescent lighting, so it's less energy and all this stuff. When people are at home, we had this issue in the town I live in.
Yeah.
There's so many people home that the pumps couldn't get enough water up here.
Ooh.
So they were saying there was a water shortage with the tank. But I heard that there was no water shortage with the tank. It was the fact that there's so many people at home and you're using a 1.5 gallon flush instead of a half gallon.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Whatever. And it's just, it couldn't keep up. So there was actually a pump installed right down the street from here.
Oh, wow.
To aid in, it just couldn't keep up with the water demand. So.
See, these are like the little nuances you don't really think about.
Yeah, it's like flap of a butterfly's wings effect and all that shit, snowball effect kind of thing. It's I think it's more better than not because it'll make people take a harder look at certain things like that.
And maybe that'll be the wave of the future. Maybe high efficiency homes are going to become a thing because people aren't going to want to pay that kind of money for.
I think it's all good stuff.
Yeah, I think it's a good direction, to be honest. I just don't know how people do it. I can't work from home. That's real quick, and then we'll end the story because I worked from home for 2 weeks during the high point of this. I had to be quarantined, and I got very little done, like super little. Granted, we were going through, my family at the time was going through like a lot emotionally, kind of, but still, I would sit down and be like, "We're gonna hunker down and work," and I'd be like, "But first, Asia needs to be defeated. Civilization."
See, you have that kind of thing where you have to go to a place to do things. You have to go to a library to study.
Yeah.
You have to go to a gym to work out.
Yeah.
You have to do.
I'm so guilty of that.
Yeah, there's a weird thing where like certain people have the ability to just be like, oh, a thing needs to get done, I got to do it. But there is something to be said as like going to a place, getting yourself geared up to do that job.
Yeah.
In that place.
And you can mimic that to a
Yes.
certain degree by
Not-
having like
not fully.
no, it's not the same thing. Like I do have my dining room set up as like a faux office right now, but it's
Yeah,
not the same.
You'd literally have to like make a room look like an office in your house and just only use it for that. So
Yeah.
it didn't feel like work every room in your house. That's the part that I wouldn't like, where it would feel like work was your home.
Yeah.
So you never left work.
Yeah. I'm sure part of the problem is that I hate my job too. So like
That doesn't help.
no. So like sitting down and being like, all right, let's do accounting work.
That doesn't help.
I would rather put pen through my eyes. All right, Andy, we've been talking about this way too long. What do you got?
Sleep deprivation. Let's talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
I have it. So, okay. So, sleep deprivation.
Yeah.
Got a couple questions for you. So, I'm obviously talking about this because I don't know if I'm sleep deprived at this point or if I'm just exaggerating. But in the last 2 days, I think I've gotten two or 3 days. I think it's been like 5 hours. So I went to bed around 7 or 8.
See, you're already struggling, dude.
I got up for work at 11. And then I went to work at midnight, came home at 7:30.
The people don't want the exacts. You can give us a roundabout number. That's fine. That's fine.
So like 4 or 5 hours in the last couple days.
All right.
I just was curious about like how I have a weird thing where I can force myself to function up until a certain point. And I've had a lot of scenarios where I've had to work on very little sleep,
Yeah.
and it's different depending on what you need to do. There's different ways that I've learned to like stretch that out. So I was just wondering for you, like, what is the longest you've ever gone without sleeping?
I don't. I'm sure I've pulled an all-nighter in college, but it was few and far in between. I have never been good going without sleep.
You're a napper.
I'm a napper.
You're a
Yeah,
napper.
no, in seriousness,
I'm not a napper.
I'm a napper. I get to a point during the day where my body will just hit a wall and I have to rest. Like I just won't be able to function. During the day might be an exaggeration, but if I try to do an all-nighter right now, forget it. There's no way.
Yeah.
Like if it was a do or die situation, yeah, then I can pull it out of my ass. But like mentally speaking, I will hit like a brick wall and I just will not be able to output what you want me to output. If I got 2 hours of sleep real quick and then could start up again, maybe I'll do a little bit better, but I've never been one to handle that well.
See, I have a couple thoughts on that. So there's certain things that you can't force through to a certain extent, like cognitive ability.
Yeah.
So doing math,
Yeah.
like that's hard to do sleep deprived. Critical thinking to a certain extent, hard to do sleep deprived. But honestly, I think that if you're trying to get something done, like, hey, I got to move blocks A to B, or I just have to stay awake and just like do this simple tasks, I think that for the most part, that's here. That is your body telling yourself, I need sleep. I want sleep. Everything in my brain is telling my body, you need sleep. Let's convince myself I need sleep. And you can do the other thing. You can do the other thing and say, no, sleep, just make up a scenario in your head and be like, sleep's not an option. So just throw that away.
Well, sometimes it's not.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, you know how some people can do a job and just, like, drag their fucking feet, and everything's the same.
Yeah.
And the other person can do it whistling Dixie.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing. The one person is like, listen, I'm doing this job whether I want to do it or not, so I might as well do it and be happy.
Yeah.
Whereas the other person is just focusing on the, I got to do the job. This is bullshit. What the fuck? And because I've noticed that, like, I have a weird ability, which you've seen, to just like be basically passing out sitting up, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, do you want to get some work done? And I just like it's like a switch gets flipped.
Yeah.
But then there's also a cutoff on that, right?
It can only last so long.
Yes. So longest people are gonna call fucking huge bullshit on this. Longest I've ever stayed awake is 4.5 days.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. I think I've told you this. The only reason I knew it was 4.5 days because I counted the sun going up and down. It was 9. 9 times it went up and down. Not up and down, like up 1, down 2, up 3, down 4. But what I've noticed is that there's a difference when you're just sitting doing something and then the physical aspect.
Yeah.
If you're doing physical work or critical thinking, you have to take mini breaks. You have to get like a half hour here, half hour there. Just, it's not even really for like a physical rest. It's almost like restarting your computer to get rid of the cookies.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like shutting the lights off to let them cool off so they don't overheat. Because like I'll be working a 16-hour shift, and I'll know that I have a bunch of stuff to do at home. And I'm like, if I go home there, I'm going to crash halfway through this. So I'll be like, you lay down for an hour. And you get up after an hour. So lay down for an hour, get up, and it's like somebody just like plugged in the iPhone and got it to 50%. And then in another couple hours, you plug it in again, but it can't go back to 50. Now it can only go to 35.
Okay.
And then eventually it just, you got to go to bed. You have to just leave it in for a full charge. It just won't happen anymore. But most people, I don't think that they can do that.
No.
I don't think they want to do it. I think they can do it. I just don't think that they think they can do it.
No, I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, I do have one memory. Granted, I didn't have to do physical labor, but it was during tax season when I was way younger. And I met a buddy at mine at a bar afterwards. So I was up at like 6 o'clock that morning, worked all day, went to a bar. I didn't drink because I had to drive. And he was supposed to take himself home, but long story short, he got obliterated. So I drove him home, drove myself home. By the time I got home, it was like 5 o'clock. So I had to get dressed, get ready for work, and went to work. And I remember just sitting there all day long. And I was super low level at the time. All I was doing was collating returns, which is just a fancy way of saying like putting them together to be sent out to clients.
Yeah.
That's all I was in charge of. So I just remember thinking like, all right, this paper goes here, this paper goes here, staple, coffee. And like, that's how I had to like keep it rhythmic in my head. Like
That's
paper,
that's the cognitive part shut down.
Paper, staple, coffee. Paper, staple, gotta pee. And like that's how I lasted all day long. Like,
yeah.
And by the end of it, I was dead.
There is a weird thing too with like your job and your like I work in construction.
Yeah.
So when you tell somebody I pulled a 16-hour shift, they don't care. Like everyone does that once in a while, especially guys in like unions. Like it's not uncommon. But if you tell somebody that works in a cubicle you did that, they're like, oh, what?
Why?
Like there is something to be said for not having that reaction of like, oh my God, that's crazy. Or someone just being like, is that a story? Or like, it just doesn't, they don't give a shit. So like, you almost feel like I better not like make this a big deal then.
Yeah.
Like it's not really a big deal. But yeah, sleep deprivation is weird.
It's a weird thing, man.
You start getting like you're high after a while.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't done it in a very, very. He's seen shit.
Yeah, you start. It is weird. It is almost like you're slightly high after a while.
They say you'll start like hallucinating and all that stuff.
That happened when I stayed awake. I've stayed awake for 3 days straight a couple times. Only one time was at 4.5 days. But one of those, I think it was the 4-day one. 100%. It was like sitting at the desk, and I see someone standing there. But I was in a room full of people.
Yeah.
But like, it's late at night. People are coming in and out. and people, like, I would see someone standing there, and I would look, and there's no one there. But as soon as I turn my head back, it's standing there again.
That's creepy.
But I know
it's a hallucination, but
in my head, I'm like, dude, you're really tired. Just accept that, like, your eyes are just really fatigued or something.
Yeah.
But then you start hearing like someone call your name that didn't call your name, or like somebody says like shit like that. But you just you kind of, if you're aware that you've been awake, you're kind of like, hey, just chalk it up to like, this is what your brain does to try to get you to go to bed.
Calm down, second brain. First brain needs to be active.
Yes, but you definitely have some trippy shit going on when you're sleep deprived.
Yeah.
I don't recommend if you can avoid it.
This is not an advice column. Although we do have an advice column, but
And that's the other thing too. Catching up on sleep is not. It doesn't work the way people think it works. Like if you normally get 7 hours of sleep, you can't get 3, and then the last day you sleep for 12, and then you're fine. Your body takes a couple days to get back to baseline.
yeah, it's kind of being like malnutrition.
Yes,
like
for your brain.
Yeah, you can't just have one meal and then all of a sudden your body completely figured itself out. You have to like slow your roll and like let it heal itself, kind of.
Yeah,
in a certain sense.
And there is a very weird thing too, where if you don't go to bed, your body will physically start to ache no matter what you've been doing. I mean, me probably more so than others because my body's so fucked up. But your body will feel like you have arthritis everywhere, like a mild case of arthritis. But even if you didn't do anything physical, like it'll just start to be like, it's trying to send you every signal of like, dude, we need to go to bed.
We need bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some science shit in there that's way too far beyond me. But yeah.
Especially right now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm officially sleepy, so we're going to call it right here. Any last thoughts? Bedtime. Let us know how long you have gone sleep deprived in the comment section down below.
Yeah.
Has it been 1 day, 2 days, 1,000 days? It's the internet. Lie to your heart's content. Also, what do you think about working from home? Are you more productive, less productive? How much do you fucking hate Carol? Fucking frozen lasagna.
Fuck Carol.
Fuck Carol.
Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin.
Killed her husband. Whacked him.
We'll get you guys next time.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh,